what is ego and what is the reason for ego. uh, Ego doesn't have any definition, because ego cannot exist in its own. Ego is just like a dead if there is not the support of other. So what is the definition of ego? If I have to define it, I define it as by giving just an example. Ego means if a person feel like I am the superior than other are inferior than me, I am at the top than other, um, I'm the boss of other. So if there is the presence of other, if there is duality, then only ego can get generated, then only ego can exist. So if there is non-dual, then ego cannot exist. So ego means the feeling of one person that I am the boss of other, I am superior than other. So this is example of, this is just a definition of ego. And what can we do to stop the ego, and what is the exact reason for ego? So as I have already said, the reason for ego is also the presence of other. In definition I have already just elaborated it. Is ego get generated when there is the presence of other. In duality, the ego get generated or exists. So it is the reason for ego. And what can we do to stop this ego? What can we do to just root out this ego from all the portion? So see, for a person to go into the state of non-duality, it is not that simple. A person should get enlightened to get into the position of that non-duality. Otherwise a person cannot forcefully get into the position of non-duality. So non-duality cannot work to just root out the ego. But I can think of one thing that can just root out this ego. So what is that? Have you ever noticed you have a lesser or minimal kind of ego to the person whom you loved so much, and you have the higher ego to the person whom you hate so much, whom you just don't feel like being with them. So what can we do to eradicate the ego? Just love is the thing that can just root out the ego. For example, you have minimal, or you don't have any kind of ego with your mother, and you have like some kind of ego with your brother, and you have a little bit more kind of ego with your friend, and you have a huge ego with the one whom you hate. So and another example is like Shiva love Parvati so much. Shiva feel like Parvati is a part of me. I can't just exist without Parvati. Parvati is part of mine. Shiva loved Parvati so much that Shiva don't have any kind of ego with Parvati. So when you love all the people, when you get into that state of loving all the people, that higher kind of love, then I don't think ego can exist at all. So love is only the thing that can just eradicate the ego.